To get inspiration for an animation, we don't always have to look at websites. Sometimes the best ideas come from completely different places, and that's exactly what happened to me. While watching a teaser for a web series, I came across this really interesting text reveal effect. Unfortunately, I can't show you the actual teaser here, but the effect instantly caught my attention. As the screen scrolls, two panels move apart from the center and gradually reveal the text underneath, creating a clean and cinematic look. It's the kind of animation that works really well for hero sections, landing pages, product launches, movie-inspired designs, or any project where you want to create a strong first impression. I thought it would be a fun GSAP project to recreate from scratch. And if you enjoy these kinds of animation breakdowns and GSAP tutorials, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Now, let's build it. Inside app.jsx, I'm keeping things pretty simple. We have a hero spacer at the top and a footer spacer at the bottom to give us enough room to scroll. Between them, I'm rendering the animation component 3 times so we can see how the effect behaves across multiple sections as we move down the page. Moving into the component, I'm accepting the text, image source, and a panel color as props so each section can have its own content and styling. Then I'm creating a background image style object, which lets us dynamically set the image while keeping it centered and covering the entire section. For the main section, I'm using a full-screen container with a black background and hidden overflow, and I'm also attaching a ref to it since we'll need to target this section later when setting up our GSAP animation. Inside it, I add an absolutely positioned background layer that stretches across the entire section and applies the background image. This image will sit behind all of our animation layers and become visible as the text gets revealed. Next, I'm creating the top panel that will cover the upper half of the screen. It's absolutely positioned and given a dynamic color through the panel color prop. Notice that I'm positioning it slightly above the viewport by setting top to -50%. This allows the panel to slide down later and perfectly reveal the content underneath. For the bottom panel, I'll simply copy the same structure and change its position from top to bottom so it sits below the viewport and can move upward during the animation. Now for the text reveal layer. This element is positioned above the panels and spans the entire section. The important part here is the clipPath. Initially, it's set to a thin line in the center, which means the text is technically there but almost completely hidden. Inside it, I'm rendering the heading and applying the same background image to the text itself using background clip. This creates the effect where the text isn't filled with a solid color. Instead, it reveals the background image. As the clip path expands during the animation, more of the text becomes visible, giving us that smooth cinematic reveal effect. Before moving to the GSAP part, let's import the required packages and create a container ref using useRef. We'll attach this ref to our section so GSAP can target it for the scroll animation. Now let's move on to the GSAP animation. Inside Use GSAP, I'm first creating a simple object called syncObj with a progress property. We'll use this later to synchronize the text reveal with the panel movement. Next, I'm creating a GSAP timeline with a scroll trigger attached to it. I'm using containerref.current as the trigger so each section controls its own animation based on its position on the page. The section gets pinned when it reaches the top of the viewport, and with scrub enabled, the animation stays perfectly synced with the user's scroll. With the timeline in place, I can now animate both panels. The top panel moves downward by 100% of its own height, while the bottom panel moves upward by the same amount. Since both animations start at the same position in the timeline, they move simultaneously and create that opening effect from the center of the screen. Now comes the part that controls the text reveal. Instead of animating the clip path directly, I'm animating the progress property of our syncObj from 0 to 1. On every update, I calculate the top and bottom values for the clip path based on the current progress. As the progress increases, the clipping area expands outward from the center, revealing more of the text. Finally, I use GSAP.set to apply the updated clip path to the text mask, keeping the reveal perfectly synchronized with the panel animation. And finally, I'm passing containerref as the scope for use GSAP so everything stays scoped to this component. And that's it, here's the final result. And there we have it, a clean text reveal animation inspired by a teaser, recreated using React, GSAP, and ScrollTrigger. The effect itself is pretty simple. Two panels move apart while a clipPath gradually reveals the text from the center. But when everything is synchronized with scroll, it creates a much more polished and cinematic feel. I hope you enjoyed this one and maybe found some inspiration for your own projects as well. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.